tell you the story of how I met, wooed, and married the beautiful Anne Page. It's a complicated tale, and it surprisingly has very little to do with me. I don't appear until the end of the very first act, but perhaps it can be explained by the presence of a more famous face.
Hello, my name is Falstaff, Sir John Falstaff to be exact. You may remember me from such Shakespearean plays as Henry IV Part 1, Henry IV Part 2, and, of course, Henry V. Actually, in Henry V, Shakespeare specifically mentioned me as being dead, but surprise, I'm back, and I'm ready to party like crazy. All I need is some money.
Falstaff, a visitor to the town of Windsor, was living up to his considerable reputation as a troublemaker. You see, Falstaff and his men had offended a local justice, a man by the name of Shallow. Along with his nephew Slender and Parson Evans, Shallow liked to make his accusations public.
You have beaten my men, killed my deer, and broke my own heart.
I mostly deny that.
And your men distracted me and stole my purse.
I almost entirely deny that.
But the biggest complaint of all was Falstaff's reputation as a womanizer.
This I do not deny.
The rest of their complaints against Falstaff, however, didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, no one touches the Falstaff.
So Slender, Shallow, and Parson Evans were left to go amongst the happy of the town, including news that the local beauty, Anne Page, had recently inherited some 700 pounds.
That's Anne Page. Why, she's beautiful. And she's rich.
Shallow soon forgot about Falstaff and turned his mind to more pressing matters.
Only there was a way to get Slender married off and manage to get a hold of some of Anne Page's money.
As you may have guessed, there was indeed a way to accomplish both goals.
I've got it, Slender. You've got to marry Anne Page. But she's too beautiful.
Don't worry, lad. Just talk to her. You can do that, can't you? Unfortunately, young Slender was horribly, terribly, inexplicably horrible with women.
Hi, my name is Anne. What's yours? So, would you like to come over for dinner? My father has invited everyone.
Say something, idiot. Anything at all. I like bear baiting.
And so it was decided that young Slender would woo Anne by letter. Few, Parson Evans offered to deliver the letter to Anne Page's trusted confidant, Mistress Quickly.
Never a woman in Windsor knows more of Anne's mind than I do.
But interestingly, young Slender was not the only one who decided to woo Anne Page. Quickly's master, a French doctor by the name of Caillou, also laid his eyes upon the beauty.
Hello, I am Monsieur Caillou. I am doctor. I am French. Now do you say protected ladies? What?
Oh, nothing.
Dr. Caillou was sure that he had an inside route to Anne Page, and hired Mistress Quickly to be assured of his success.
Never a woman in Windsor knows more of Anne's mind than I do.
But interestingly, young Slender was not the only one who decided to woo Anne Page. Quickly's master, a French doctor by the name of Caillou, Quickly.
What is this?
Caillou was very upset to discover that he had competition. He was even more upset to discover that Parson Evans was helping his romantic competition.
I'll cut this drunk in the park and teach the scrubbing chuck and boot on the head.
Naturally, the French doctor rushed off to challenge the parson to a duel. But we'll hear more about that later, because that's when I, Fenton, finally arrived on the scene. You see, I too sought Mistress Quickly's help in Lady Anne.
Never a woman in Windsor knows more of Anne's mind than I do.
What news have been pretty, Mistress
I'll
Anne?
be sworn on a book that she loves you.
Little did I know, she had said the same thing to Slender and Caillou.
There are just so many of them.
Ironically, the one person in the story who wasn't wooing Anne Page was Sir John Falstaff. He was too busy seducing two of the town's wealthiest women, Mrs. Ford and Mrs. Page, Anne's mother. Through this seduction, fortunately, both men were told to meet in separate locations. Well, Caillou, you won't? The two would have to wait. Meanwhile, Falstaff arrived at the Ford house, intent upon wooing Mr. Ford.
Now, wherever you are,
Oh, sweet John.
Mr. Ford.
So far, the plan was working perfectly. Falstaff had no idea the two eyes were in cahoots. Not even when Mrs. Page showed up.
Hey, what's the matter? Your husband's got a moment with the police. He says there's a
Meanwhile, at the Page's house, I finally had a chance to speak to Aunt Page in private, watch the master at work. I see I cannot get thy father's love.
Why not?
He doth object that I, being galled with expense, seek to heal it only by his wealth.
Maybe he's right. Maybe you are only after my family's wealth.
No, I confess thy father's wealth was thy first motive. But upon wooing thee, I have found thee more valuable than stamps and gold, and sums of sealed bags. And 'tis the very riches in thyself that I don't aim at.
Oh, gentle Master Fenton.
Yes, darling? But nothing is ever that easy. Despite the fact that Anne had already fallen in love with me, her father, Mr. Page, had already found a different suitor for his daughter.
And there's someone I'd like to meet.
Slender?
What young Thunder is trying to tell you is that he loves you.
You do?
He says he will maintain you like a gentleman.
Good Master shall let him move for himself. Slender? Yes?
Fortunately, Mrs. Page did not want her daughter to marry Slender.
Oh, thank goodness.
Unfortunately, she did want her daughter to marry the French doctor, Caillou.
I'd rather be boiled to death with turnips!
Mrs. Page ignored her daughter's protests. Mistress quickly, however, seeing Anne's reaction to both Slender and Caillou, began to look more favorably upon me, Fenton.
A kind heart he hath, and willing to run through fire and water for such a kind heart.
Meanwhile, the French doctor finally caught up with his opponent.
Therefore, you not to meet me?
As I'm Christian, so this is the place appointed.
By God, you are a coward, rejecto. Show me.
Dr. Evans, despite having second thoughts, had no choice but to act tough.
I desire your friendship, and while willing to make you amends.
I said Dr. Evans had no choice but to act tough.
Oh, not to you, are not strong, the name's coxcomb.
Much better.
I didn't even know.
The two men made their peace, and the duel was canceled.
Hooray!
You see, the two men had discovered they shared a common enemy.
God will give us directions.
Meanwhile, Mr. Ford, once more described as Brooke, was listening to Falstaff's strange descriptions of the rendezvous with Mrs. Ford.
Buck basket?
A buck basket, randomly in foul shirts, smocks, stockings, foul stockings, greasy napkins. That, Mr. Brooke, it was the rankest comic, one as small that ever offended an nostril.
No.
Yes, what's more, Ford himself had almost caught me. Had he only looked in the buck basket, he could have found me out.
No.
Yes. The fate held his hand, you see. Destiny. I am destined to be with Mrs. Ford.
No.
Oh, yes. Only that old Ford knew. Well, I better be off. Mrs. Ford asked me for a second date.
I can't believe it. His plans over.
So Mr. Ford headed off to his house, trying to catch Falstaff with his wife, not knowing that his visit was yet a continuation of the 2 hours plot to get the better of Falstaff. At first, everything went exactly as planned.
Falstaff.
Mistress Ford.
Falstaff and Mrs. Ford? Mr. Ford? Mr. Ford?
Ford. Falstaff. Mr. Ford.
But they did not catch Falstaff in the laundry basket this time, opting instead to embarrass him even further and dress him up as an old woman.
An ugly old woman. A very ugly.
Hey, not too fat.
This time, when Mr. Ford arrived, he thought he was sure he knew where Falstaff was hiding.
Let the clothes alone.
I will find you and empty the basket, I said.
But he did not find Falstaff in the basket. He did, however, notice the old and ugly woman, but instead of noticing Falstaff under the disguise, he came to a more colorful assumption.
Which?
Where?
Which?
And Mr. Ford took a stick to beat the witch, to drive her, I mean him, out of the house, never knowing it was actually Falstaff that he struck.
Take that nasty witch.
Ouch. Hey.
The two aunts took pity on the bewildered husband and confessed everything. Mr. Ford was deeply ashamed of his actions and vowed never to doubt his wife ever again.
Henceforth, do what the will. I would rather some than go tired, and don't honor as things is known as fate.
Together, they concocted a final plan to humiliate Falstaff.
If I Falstaff, I'll marry me both of the oak tree of strange. Surely that would be enough to make Lippy's complete impression.
And so they went their ways to prepare for the final trip. Mrs. Page, however, sensing a chance to kill two birds with one stone, made arrangements to capitalize on the ensuing chaos. She secretly met with Caillou, her choice for marrying Anne.
What? About to scare him?